Man. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody for tuning in to another Minor Adjustments, the final week. Minor Adjustments last week. You know what I was just looking for? Huh? My phone. You ever have your phone and you be looking for it? Woo-wee! Another Minor Adjustments week, the final week. Week 8. Living victorious. Today is the last and final week for Minor Adjustments. I'm excited. As always, we're going to give a few people a few minutes to allow some people to log in and do what they're doing. Somebody just log in. That's Linnell Applewin, I know. And get a few people. How you doing, Miss Gloria? How are you? Get a few people time to get situated. This is the 8th and final week of Minor Adjustments. And the title of today's class is Living Victorious. We got a lot in store for today. A lot of different announcements of things we're going to be doing in the days ahead. And we just going to go ahead and do what we have to do and go from there. All right. So while we're waiting, before we actually go into the final week of Minor Adjustments, let me go over few things. As always, today we will be asking the question. I'm gonna ask the question. I'm gonna go through my 8 books. I'm not going to go through the 8 books in order, but if you can guess which book is my second book, then you will win all 8 of the books. We will be sent to you. You just inbox your address, and you will win all 8 of the books. I'm going to go through my 8 books, but I'm not going to go through the 8 books in order. I'm going to just tell you the 8 books, and you tell me which one.
That's a little easy. You should have them tell you, write all the books in order, 1 through 8. What was first? What was last?
That's kind of.
No.
Yeah, I can't even remember sometimes. But what's up, Rodney? How you doing? Okay. All right. Again, this is the last week for living Minor Adjustments, and this subject is living victorious. Living victorious, and again, I'm gonna go through all my 8 books. I'm not gonna go through in order, but simply tell me which one was my second book. If you can guess which one was my second book. The first person to guess which one was my second book will be blessed with all 8 of the books. The first person, I'm going to text it on the screen. The first person who guessed which book was my second book will receive all 8 books for free. So I'm going to go through my books. Come over to the other side of the cross. Come over to the other side of the cross. Minor Adjustments. Minor Adjustments. I'm a believer. I am what I am. The journey is too great for you. The journey is too great for you. Pushed out the crack house into God's house. Pushed out the crack house into God's house. My purpose is greater than my struggles. My purpose is greater than my struggles. God changed your name. God changed your name. The 28 sermons you have to hear. The 28 sermons you have to hear. Again, today is a beautiful day that we are going to bless someone with all 8 of my books. And in order for you to get the 8 books for free, you have to be the first person to tell me which book was actually my second book. Which book was actually my second book. And the first person who guessed that will receive all 8 of the books. Complimentary of my wife. Yeah, thank you. But anyway, she like to give. There's more give to receive. She like to give stuff away. So thank her. How you doing, Miss Hartnett? All right. Let's see what we got. One more time. Today is minor adjustments. Last week, the title of today's subject is Living Victorious. Living Victorious. Again, the minor adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crimes, and our primary purpose is to teach men and women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary in their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. Anywhere but backwards. And that came from a scripture that I read years ago, Jeremiah 7:24, that says, "Yet they did not obey and incline their ear to me, but they followed the counsel of their own hearts, and they went backwards instead of forward." Anywhere but backwards. Again, today is the last week we'll be doing the minor adjustments program online, And the minor adjustment program is just an 8-week course that we have created, and we go into our institutions or other facilities to teach our program. After the 8 weeks, the clients receive a certificate with their names on it, the program director's names on it, re-entry coordinator, whomever it may be, along with ours. And they also receive a bracelet that says anywhere, see that? Anywhere but backwards. And that's Jeremiah 7:24. Okay, again, today someone, did you write it up there yet, babe?
No.
Okay. Someone will, whoever guessed, the first person to guess what book was actually my second book will win. All 8 of the books will be sent to you. The first person to guess what was my second book will receive all 8 of the books. And this is in the mission statement. In the mission statement, we have 2 words that I like to pull out of there. And one of them, how you doing, Mom Doc? Are 2 of them are to obtain and maintain. And the reason why those words are important is because to attain means to come into the possession of something, and the word maintain means to keep in existence. So I teach individuals that to obtain your freedom is easy. Your challenge is greater than your struggle. To obtain your freedom is easy. To obtain your freedom is easy. The challenge is to maintain. So to attain your freedom, yeah, that's easy. The challenge is to maintain it. And the reason why I say to obtain your freedom is easy is because once an individual gets sentenced to some time to do, they already know when they're getting out. When an individual goes into detox or rehabilitation center, they obtain their sobriety. But that's not the challenge. The challenge is to maintain it. So to attain your freedom or to obtain your sobriety, yeah, I get it. That's easy. That's the easy part. I teach individuals to get the necessary relapse prevention skills or coping skills, or build your spiritual foundation to such to a point that you will be able to maintain what you have received. Let's see. So today is Living Victorious. Living Victorious. All right. Each week that we do the class, we like to have an expectation for the group. Today, my expectation is that everyone's heart of a champion will be revived. Everyone's heart of a champion will be revived. Let's see.
Name your books again, Michael.
Well, the first person who tell me what the second book, what the second title of the first person who named the second title, which book was actually my second book will win all 8. But I'm going to go through these books, and I'm not going to go through them in order. You have to guess. Minor Adjustments is 1. Come Over to the Other Side of the Cross, that's 2. I'm a Believer, that's 3.
Don't say that.
Okay. The Journey is Too Great for You. How you doing, Mr. Craig Cream? Pushed Out the Crack House into God's House. My Purpose is Greater Than My Struggles. God Changed Your Name. The 28 Sermons You Have to Hear. The first person who let me know which one of those books was actually my second book will receive all 8 books. And you can thank my beautiful wife right here. She'll pay for them. All right. Now let's move. Each week I like to have an expectation. My expectation for this particular week is my expectation is everyone will have a heart. Everyone's heart of the champion will be revived. I'll get back into it. Everyone's heart of a champion will get revived. Alright, living victorious does not mean freedom from temptation, nor does it mean freedom from mistakes or losing. But you must never be satisfied with losing, or even be happy with your mistakes. You must get angry, terribly angry, about losing and your mistakes. But the mark of a good loser is that they take the anger out on themselves, meaning they assume the responsibility for their actions and not their victorious opponents. Victory is always possible for that person who refuses to stop fighting to obtain and maintain living victorious. Alright, remember I said that everyone's heart of a champion will be revived. I remember years ago I was watching the NBA playoffs. I love sports. And I was watching the NBA playoffs. And during this particular time, the Houston Rockets were champions, but they were going for a repeat. And when they were going for a repeat, they was in the playoffs. They were down by a great deficit, and the time was running out. It was the fourth quarter. So the coach seen them losing and had their heads down, and he called the timeout. When he called the timeout, the team was coming off the floor, and the coach looked down at the opponents, and he seen them all down there high-fiving and slapping and celebrating because they thought it was over. So when the team went back out the timeout, they proceeded to catch up to their opponent, and they won, and they became 2-time world champions. But later on in that day, the television network showed the excerpt of that last timeout. While they were in that last timeout, the coach looked and seen the team down there celebrating, and he said to his team, never underestimate the heart of a champion. Now I said all that to say this. When the coach looked down there and seen the team celebrating because they thought it was over, he told his team, never underestimate the heart of a champion. Now, I don't know what you may be going through in your own individual lives, but I do know that something is looking at you and is celebrating because it seems like it's over for you. But never underestimate the heart of a champion. I believe that we can help you revive that heart of a champion that you have in you. And just like that coach told his team, never underestimate cultivate the heart of a champion. You have the heart of a champion. No matter what the situation may look like, no matter how many people may try to celebrate and give each other high fives because it look like you're losing, no matter how many of your children may be addicted to drugs or may be incarcerated, you still possess the heart of a champion. And even though it may appear like you're losing, it seems like you're losing, you're still not losing. You have to always remember, and you have to just revive that heart of a champion. And that's living victorious. And the word living means the power of continuing life, the act of life, or living comfortable. The word living means the power or continued life, the act of life, or living comfortable. Today our subject is living victorious. Living victorious can differ from every individual. You might have a challenge of being a father, and sometimes you might have been struggling with that area for years, and you finally get to a place where you start to build a relationship with your children. That's living victorious. You might have had a dream of starting your business, and you never stepped on water to start your business, and then you start doing it. That's living victorious. No matter what it is, it's always everybody's living victorious is different. Let's see. What do you think? Who do you think has a victorious life? Who do you think has a victorious life? And the reason why those questions are in this minor adjustments workbook is because based off of what you believe something to be victorious or who you believe to be victorious, that's what you will gravitate to. If you believe that I believe that my personal Bishop David Adam Hadley at Glory Tabernacle Church, Sunday, 11 o'clock, 1018 Buckshooter Road. But anyway, I believe my particular bishop has a victorious life. Whoever you believe have a victorious life, that's what you will gravitate to. And that's why that's in there. Who do you think has a victorious life? What does living victorious mean to you? What does living victorious mean to you? Put that on the screen. What does living victorious mean to you? Where should you start to obtain a victorious life? These are all questions that are in the book, and when we're going to facilities and we're doing this particular minor adjustments class, each class has different questions for the individuals to answer. Everybody will have a host of different answers. It's not like a right answer or a wrong answer. It's basically a judge or basically a gauge to try to see where the individuals are. So the question is, where should you start to obtain a victorious life? Me personally, my wife and I personally started by spiritual foundation. A spiritual foundation. Like everybody can have a different where they start to obtain. Again, obtain means to come into the possession of something. Where should you start to come into the possession of a victorious life? Our personal thing that we came into the possession of was our spiritual foundation, and that's that's nothing. That's everything else that we do off of that foundation. If it can't be proven off of that foundation, then we basically leave it alone. So where should you start to obtain a victorious life? Why is having a victorious life important? Why is having a victorious life important? Again, this is the 8th week. Living victorious is the topic, and minor adjustments is going through this is the last week. We will go through this last chapter, then I will read the conclusion, and we usually have a graduation and food. So I guess she's just going to give me a certificate, and I'm going to give her a certificate. She give me a bracelet. I give her a bracelet. You cook? I don't know where the food going to come from, but I don't know. She probably got something cooked. But anyway, and then we're going to move on from there. And again, don't forget, anybody who guessed what the title of my second book is will receive all 8 of the books, thanks to yours truly. All right. Next question is, how do you maintain a victorious life? That's tough. How do you maintain? How do you maintain? Remember, maintain means to keep in existence. So how do you keep in existence the victorious life that you have obtained? How do you keep it in existence? How do you maintain a victorious life? I'm going to give you some five important words. These 5 words are something that are embedded in me, and I try to, listen to me, I am trying to develop in all areas of these 5 words. Discipline, structure, integrity, character, and boundaries. Those 5 words. If this is how me personally, this is how one of the things that I use to try to maintain the victorious life that I have attained. And it's discipline, it's structure, integrity, character, and boundaries. If I'm developing in all of them, and listen to me. When you are born, you do not just get these right here. The only way you get these is you have to develop in those areas. And it takes practice, it takes repeated failures, it takes you going through the process of developing. But in order for you to maintain a victorious life, these 5 things, I'm talking about a book I'm writing in my head. These 5 things, discipline. You must live a disciplined life. You must live a structured life. Your life must have some type of structure. You must have integrity. You must have some integrity. And you also must have character. A lot of individuals are getting caught in stuff, and I always pray and I ask, what happened in that situation? And it always comes back to me, it has something to do with character. And after character is boundaries. You must, in order for you to maintain living victorious, you must live a disciplined life. You must live a life that has some type of structure. You must have integrity. You must have character, and you must set boundaries. You must set boundaries.
Just before we go.
Go.
Before we go any further, I wanted to say that tonight's our last class tonight is dedicated to a special young lady, Janelle Solomon. Hold the picture up. This is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Because we don't want anybody to leave here without knowing and reaching their full potential and their purpose. We want you to make it. And we know that with God's help, you have all the ability, everything in you to make it. We lost Janelle this week. And a lot of you watching know that her father, Pastor Russell Austin, he works with people struggling with all type of addictions. And he was one of the men that I called a lot on when my husband and I were going through. So we want you to keep the prayers out for him and keep him uplifted. But we want you to know that you have everything in you to be victorious. There's no reason for us to lose anyone. And once again, you keep the Solomon family up in your prayers.
Yeah.
And today's class is dedicated to Janelle TT.
My girl TT. Yeah.
Beautiful spirit.
Yeah.
All right. So if I don't look like I'm smiling too much, Mr. Craig Cream, I still know that I'm victorious.
Yeah.
But when we lose someone, it's very hurtful.
TT. This class is dedicated to my girl TT. In remembrance of my girl TT and all her mannerisms. Sorry.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it? That's what she said.
Yeah, I could recognize her from the back without seeing her face just because she was moving. But anyway, it is possible to learn. Is it possible? We in the 8th week of minor adjustments, and the reason why, yeah, man, a lot of people ask me, or someone asked me, yo, how do you stay motivated to do what you do? And I said, for the last 9 years, I've been on the trail of a killer, drug addiction. I've been on the trail of a killer. The same way that it came after me with aggressiveness, as aggressive as that thing was to try to get me, that's how aggressive I am to try to help another man or another woman. And I will never slow down. Drug addiction did not slow down and try to take its foot off the gas pedal. So why would I get on this side and take my foot off the gas pedal against it? I'm going to go try to help as many as people as I can, use my life, use our lives as a testimony that people can make minor adjustments and change. So I'm going to always have the same passion and enthusiasm to go after and help another man or another woman the same way drug addiction and criminal lifestyle was coming after me. The same way, matter of fact, the same way it was coming after me, I'm coming after it, or I'm coming after helping people with more tenacity than it ever seen before. No slowing down. I had a vision one day of a foot on the gas pedal, and that's all I'm going to do is try to help individuals. Is it possible? Is it possible to learn from your mistakes? Is it possible, hi Wayne, is it possible to learn from your mistakes? Your mistakes, listen to me, your mistakes and losses are your mentors. You listen, your mistakes are actually your mentors. They teach you what not to do. When I got the revelation that all the mistakes I made were actually my mentors sent to me, oh man. So I said, well, how do I know not to do this? I made that mistake before. I already made that mistake. But if you want to go ahead and try to do the same thing I did to find out that you're going to end up the same way I ended up, then go ahead. But I'm trying to tell you that all your mistakes are actually your mentors. If you process the things you made mistakes at right, you will always develop or move to a higher level than anybody ever expected you to go. And when they try to figure out how did you get to this point and you're living victorious, you can always tell them, I learned that my mistakes became my mentors. Your mistakes are your mentors. Are you comfortable living this way? Listen to me. When you're in a situation and you're going through something, no matter what area it is, you can be struggling with gambling, drugs, you can be struggling in finances, marriage, business, whatever it is, and you want something to change, and you're not doing the things that you have the power to change, and you're not doing it, you have to ask yourself, are you comfortable living like that? Do you actually want it to change? Or sometimes my wife used to say, you saying you want to change, but you just saying that because you got caught. And sometimes a lot of individuals probably don't want to. But maybe one day my sister asked me, was I comfortable living a certain type of way? And I didn't understand why she asked me that. And she said the reason why she was asking me that is because I kept repeating it. So she was saying, hold on, you know you're going to get addicted to that. You know if you do that crime, you're going to go to jail. But yet and still, you constantly doing the exact same thing. So she asked me, are you comfortable doing that? Like maybe you're comfortable going to jail. Maybe you're comfortable in drug rehabilitation centers. And you know what I had to do? I had to ask myself, maybe I am. And I had to realize that I was so comfortable going inside institutions that institutions no longer became bad. It was susceptible to me. And my wife said something, don't go somewhere, I can't remember how she said it, but I'll get it. Don't go somewhere where it's comfortable. Now you got to say it. What is it? How you say it? Tell us, say it, y'all.
Don't.
Hold on, listen.
Don't run from an uncomfortable place to a comfortable place.
Don't run from an uncomfortable place to a comfortable place. What does that mean?
So a lot of times when we're comfortable, there's no growth when you're comfortable. There's no movement. You're comfortable. You're warm. You're cozy. There's no expectation. There's no demands on you. You just stay right there. It is what it is. And people a lot of times when there's a demand or it's time for them to grow and there's someone and they feel uneasy and they're uncomfortable, they'll revert back to what's comfortable because there's nothing expected of them. So don't run from an uncomfortable place.
Uncomfortable place. I got another one for you. When today the subject is living victorious. And in order for you to live victorious, you're going to have to come out your comfort zone. In order for you, all right, y'all say it over, Lord. In order for you to go to the next dimension or the next level, you're going to have to shake up your comfort zone. Because once you get so comfortable in the place, yeah, I got it. And once you get so comfortable in the place where you can be at a job and you so comfortable with that pay, but you know that you can do something better, you're so comfortable with that check and how you spend it and pay for things that you'll never take the opportunity to advance. Why? Because you don't want to mess up your comfort zone. And sometimes you have to take up your comfort zone. You're going to have to break up your comfort zone in order for you to advance to the next level.
And that's what birds do in the nest. When the babies won't fly on out, they make the nest uncomfortable.
So the birds, when they come back and try to be comfortable, they got sticks all over and they like, it's time for you to go. Yeah. Nah. Again, if you first person to guess the title of my second book will win all 8 of my books. I'm going to read them off. I'm not going to read them off in order of how I wrote them, but you will have to guess which one is the second book, and Linnell will send you all 8. Just let us, the first person who guesses, the first one, well, let me stop saying first. Come over to the other side of the cross. The 28 sermons you have to hear. God changed your name. My purpose is greater than my struggles. Pushed out the crack house into God's house. The journey is too great for you. I'm a believer. I am what I am. And minor adjustments. The first person to guess which one is actually my second book will receive all 8 books. Again, complimentary of yours truly, Linnell Apple Williams. But anyway, the next page is, you have something special in you that gives you an advantage. You have seeds of greatness in you, but you still must become significant. You can overcome any obstacle and achieve your purpose in life when you realize the importance that has been put inside of you. It's an inside job. I'm going to teach that right now. It's an inside job. And with inside you, there is nothing you can't do. No dream is too big. No challenge is too great. You have to be transformed by the renewing of the mind and then set that renewed mind in motion and determine in your heart that no matter what happens, you're willing to go anywhere but backwards. Tell yourself, I'm living victorious. Anywhere but backwards. There is nothing exciting. There is nothing exciting as winning. The taste of victory in our lives is sweet. There is nothing exciting as winning. The taste of victory. When you know you was victorious over something, the taste of victory is always sweet. There's nothing exciting as winning. All right. Next page, we moving right along. It says, there is no one magic move or secret that creates victory, but it's a lot of little items when added together can make you victorious. There is no magic move. You ain't got no one trick, no power move to go to, or no secret that creates victory. It's a lot of little items that when you add them together, it makes you victorious. That's why I say our spiritual foundation. I don't want people to think that once we build our spiritual foundation, then all the work that we had to do was over. That's magic. No. Once we build our spiritual foundation, it's still stuff that actually in the Bible the scriptures say put on and put off. Why would you have to put on and put off? Because you won't have some work to do. It's like, don't do this and do this. We still have to do some work. It's still work that we have to do. So it's not one big magic move that you do and all the rest is over. When you're trying to live victorious, you have a lot of little things that you have to add together. And it goes back to those 5 words that I was talking about previously. When I said discipline, structure, integrity, character, and boundaries. Those are 5 areas that must be developed in your life when you're trying to live victorious. If you developed in all those areas, not saying that's the dot, or you do that and it's over. I'm just saying that's the bare minimum. If you don't live a disciplined life, a disciplined life is the first word. The last word is boundaries. If you don't set boundaries, it's a proverb that said that a man who can't control his own spirit is like a city without walls. If you can't control your own self to cross boundaries, it's nothing to protect you. Let's see where we at. Page 73. Again, we're going through the minor adjustments workbook. And we on the last chapter of the workbook. It's been 8 weeks. 8 weeks we've been doing it. Pretty good. And since we first started doing it online, it's pretty good. So we got other things in store that we're going to do. It says many men and women will finally succeed only because they have failed after, watch this, repeated efforts. If they had never met defeat, they would never have known any great victories. You will find peace not by trying to escape your problems, but by confronting them courageously. By confronting them courageously. You will find peace not in denial, but in victory. In every adversity, there lies a seed of an advantage. And every defeat is a lesson showing you how to win the victory the next time. And every defeat is a lesson showing you how to win the victory the next time. Your victorious life is right around the corner. Never give up, no matter what it looks like. Where it says, and every defeat is a lesson showing you how to win the victory the next time. If you pay attention to, you might not be into sports as much as I am. I really love sports, but coaches always show videos of their defeats. Show more videos of their defeats than their victories. Coaches show more tapes of their defeats than they do the victories. Why? Because the victories, if they victorious over a particular opponent, there's no need to study the tape of the person that you're constantly beating. But the ones that you have defeated, that you keep losing to, those are the tape that the coaches keep feeding to the players. LeBron James, for example, the team Toronto Raptors, he beat them in the playoffs. He hasn't lost to them so long, he don't need to go study tape to see how to defeat the Toronto Raptors. But he having trouble with a particular team now, so he had to study the tape that this team keep beating him. But the team before them, he didn't have to study the tape when he was doing that, because they was somebody that he was victorious over repeatedly. So the coaches show more videos of defeats than victories, because in every defeat is a lesson. In every defeat is a lesson. And every defeat is a lesson. That's why I said your mistakes becomes your mentor. And every defeat is a lesson. I learned so much about drug addiction or criminal lifestyle or chemical dependency, not by going to school. I'm in school now, but before I was going to school, I actually learned a lot from making those same mistakes. The word victory means conquering. Listen to these words that's associated with the word victory. Oh, I'm sorry, victorious. The word conquering, winning, triumphant, champion, on top, having defeated an adversary. It says the word victorious means conquering, winning, triumphant, champion, on top, having defeated an adversary. Those words just coming out my mouth sounds good. Saying I'm a conqueror, more than a conqueror. I'm winning. I'm a champion. I'm on top. All those words are the definitions associated with the word victorious. So living victorious is so much things there that you can always associate it with champion, on top, having defeated an adversary, meaning you defeated that particular area. That's why victory becomes sweet in your mouth, because when you defeat one area, it gives you the arsenal or the know-how to defeat another area.
True.
All right. Who's winning in your personal war? Your personal war. Everybody has their own little war that they're going through. Who's winning? What gives them the advantage? These are questions that you have to ask yourself. Who's winning in your own personal war? And then you have to ask yourself, if you put something on that question, then now you have to ask yourself, what's giving them the advantage over you? Mm-hmm. If you put right there, this particular area is winning in my own personal war, now you need to study remember I said the coaches show tapes of the team's losses more than the victories. Now you need to play that tape back, if you will, and find out what's giving them that advantage. All right. What area of your life can you get the best lesson from? Oh, man. What area of your life can you get the best lesson from? Listen, your mistakes, I teach more from my mistakes than my victories. No matter what area I'm walking in, if I'm walking in my MIT ministering training, if I'm at my counselor job, if I'm doing minor adjustments, facilitating, no matter what department or where I'm at, I'm always teaching more from my mistakes than my victories. Why? Because I learned the most from my mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I teach the most from my mistakes. I teach more from my mistakes than my victories. And that's not to say the victories aren't important, but I always come across people who are repeating something that I did, no matter what it is. I could be talking to somebody and they probably just got married, and I'll be like, you can't do that. And we like, how you know? I did that already. That's a mistake. I teach more from my mistakes than I do my victories.
And if you think about little kids, if you picture things, little kids, if you give a child, if you reward them no matter what their behavior is, they acted out in school and you came home, you took them shopping, you told them to take out the trash, do chores, and you still buying them those sneaks, giving them iPhone 10s. And if you reward a child constantly no matter what their behavior is, they'll continue with that behavior because there was no repercussions. So in your mistakes, there's a repercussion. There's consequences for your mistakes, and those consequences teach you. We have our grandbaby. She was maybe like 1, and she had this fascination with hot things. Every time she saw the stove, she wanted to come to the stove. If she saw the iron, she wanted to touch it, and my husband would run to save her. No. He would move it. He would grab her, whatever. And the more he did that, it made her want it more. So one day, I said, let her touch it. Had the iron, and she went, and we kept telling her, hot, but that was not good enough. Yeah. And he went to move it, and I said, let her touch it real quick. And she touched that iron. Guess what? The next time that iron was up there, she looked at it and said, hot? But she didn't touch it. She didn't reach for it. If you say hot, she immediately moved away from whatever that you told her was hot.
she learned.
Because she had to learn. She learned
from a mistake.
So sometimes mistakes, they the best teachers.
They the best teachers.
So don't beat yourself up over mistakes.
Don't beat yourself.
What we're trying to tell you. Don't beat yourself up over that.
Just if you
process it, you had to learn.
If you process it correctly, your mistakes can become your mentors. If you process it correctly, and still to this day, if you process it correctly, you will. Your mistakes will become your mentor. Again, if anybody who guessed what's the title of my second book will get all 8 of my books complimentary from my wife. So if you guess all of them, you will.
Let's do these books again. If you guys are forgetting the titles, go ahead.
If you guess which one was my second book, you get all 8 of them. Come Over to the Other Side of the Cross is one. I'm a believer. The journey is too great for you. Pushed out the crack house into God's house. My purpose is greater than my struggle. God changed your name. The 28 sermons you have to hear. And minor adjustments. Which one of those books was actually my second book? Alright, let's move on. I forgot where I was. Why are you comfortable with defeat and unlearned lessons? Do you try to escape your problems? Do you know your advantages? Wow. Do you know what advantages you have? Do you know what advantages you have? That's why I keep going back to my spiritual foundation. Me understanding and realizing what I actually have to possess, what I actually possess is my advantage. Once I've realized, after I build up my spiritual foundation, I realized that I can live victorious because I now knew what advantages I had. I knew that the greatness that I possessed was inside me. It was hidden in me, and nothing outside could actually do anything about it. It's like a boat on water. A boat never has problem with water. The first time a boat had problem with water is when the water start getting in the boat. So as long as the water is outside the boat don't have no problem with the water. It's the exact same thing with drugs. As long as drugs stayed outside of my body, I no longer had a problem with drugs. When I had a problem with drugs is when I put the drugs in me. As long as the drugs stayed out of me, it was no longer a problem for me. I had the advantage. And when I realized that I actually had an advantage over the drugs, and I realized that, hold on, the drugs can't beat me if I don't put the drugs in me. So once I realized that a boat don't have problem with water, the only time a boat have problem with water is when the water start getting in the boat. Then the boat got a problem. Because the boat gonna sink. What else? Is your mind focused on your victory? Is your mind focused on your victory? I would like to be called an inspiration to people, not a role model, says Mr. Williams, because I make mistakes just like everybody else. You control your future, your destiny. What you think about comes about. By recording your dreams and goals on paper, you set in motion the process of becoming the person you most want to be. Do you know that in the race all the runners compete, but only one receives the prize? So run your race that you may lay hold of the award and make it yours. You have to put your future in good hands, your own. Just always remember that information plus application equals destination. To live in victory, you must think victorious. To live in victory, you must think victorious. All right. Let's see. Thought for the day. He who knows when he can fight and when he cannot will always be victorious. He who knows when he can fight and when he cannot will always be victorious.
Somebody else said that too.
Who?
He said, you gotta know when to hold them.
Know when to fold
Know
them.
when to fold them.
Yeah, that.
Know when to walk away.
And know when to run.
Know when to run.
Gotta count them blessings. All right. Oh, she got it?
Why you say that? It's terrible.
Author. Conclusion. Author Henry Cloud said in his book, this is the conclusion of it, the conclusion of the whole thing right here. Author Henry Cloud said in his book titled Never Go Back, and I quote, do you ever feel stuck? We're going to do to the conclusion of the whole thing, and this will be the last and final week, and we're going to hopefully do something else about minor adjustments soon. Conclusion is, author Henry Cloud said in his book titled Never Go Back, and I quote, do you ever feel stuck or bogged down? You know your life could be different, better, but you're not sure what's holding you back. And even if you did, you're not at all confident that what you have what it takes. Author Henry Cloud understands. Not only Not only does he understand, he also gives us 10 principles in his book that he says once we learn them and apply them, you'll never go back to your old ways of doing things. He says, never return, listen to me, never return to what hasn't worked. Never return to what hasn't worked. Never again do anything that requires you to be someone you're not. Never do anything that requires you to be someone you're not. Never again try to change another person. Never again try to change another person. Never again believe that you can please everyone. Never again can you please everyone.
You sure can't.
Never again, watch this, choose short-term comfort over long-term benefit. Short-term comfort over long-term benefit. Man. Never choose short-term comfort over long-term benefit. Take the long-term benefit. Don't take the short-term comfort. Never again trust someone or something with flaws. Listen, he says, never trust something that has flaws. If you're going to believe in something, you better believe in something that don't have any flaws. Never believe or trust in something or someone that has flaws. Never again take your eyes off the big picture.
Yes.
Think big. Think big. Think big. It might start out small, but think big. Never take your eyes off the big picture. Never again neglect to do due diligence. Never again neglect to do due diligence. Never again fail to ask why you are where you are. Never again fail to ask yourself why you are where you are. And the last one, which is my favorite, never again forget that your inner life determines your outer success. It's an inside job. He says, never again, never forget that your inner life determines your outside success. These concepts may be simple on the outside, but implementing even one of these principles will change your life forever. Once you walk through the doorways of change, you'll find that you never want to go back, end quote, anywhere but backwards. Severing the chains to your past restores your option for the future. When you've been stuck a long time, forward momentum can seem impossible, and you can learn that life lesson from a car when the tires are stuck in the mud. You lack direction, energy, and confidence. So what am I supposed to do? That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. Getting traction requires willingness, a willingness to say yes to God first, then to you. Every time you say yes, you open yourself up to your God-given potential and to the greatest of possibilities. If you're not used to making major changes in your life, this may be hard, but at least be willing to say, I'll make some minor adjustments. Never forget that you are unique, possessing talents, experiences, opportunities that no one else has ever had or ever will have. But in order for you to maximize those gifts, you must be willing to go anywhere but backwards. Again, the Minor Adjustments Program, 8 weeks course that we did today. We dedicating it to our sister TT. We dedicate this week to our sister right here, TT, and
you can make it.
And you can make it no matter what.
Do the small things, and they'll accumulate into big things. One thing at a time, small steps at a time. You can make it. We don't want to lose anybody. You can make it.
Minor Adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Oh, before we go, next month, I don't know the actual day, but we're going to be doing a Minor Adjustments talk show online. The Minor Adjustments talk show was created to inspire, encourage, give hope, and stir up the greatness that people have inside of them. But this particular show, we will be talking to people who might have some type of business ideas. We will have guests on screen. Y'all will be able to interact with different guests that we will invite, people who have their own businesses, own ministries, and people who's trying to just start out and do something, and we will have them on as guests next month. We will just be looking out for it. Can you see the shirt? Just be looking for this picture. You'll see it. It's going to be the Minor Adjustments talk show, online talk show. And the Minor Adjustments online talk show, it was created to inspire, encourage, give hope, and to stir up the greatness that people have inside of them. So we're going to have guests on, and we can have up to 4 guests on at a time. And my wife and I will be talking to all the different individuals who we will invite on our guests. I'm surprised. I'm excited about it. My first guest is going to be a very exciting thing for me because I want him to be my first guest. But so look for that next month sometime. And then my wife's going to be doing something else called Apple Slices. And she's going to be having different subjects that she's going to be talking about to encourage other people. And I'm excited about that. So we're going to have the Minor Adjustments talk show online. And we're going to also have my wife doing something online called Apple Slices that she came up with, that God laid in her heart to do. And we're going to be just doing what we are called to do and encouraging individuals. And today, Minor Adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crimes, and our primary purpose is to teach men and women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary in their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. And that came from Jeremiah 7:24 that says, "Yet they did not obey and incline their ear to me, but they followed the counsel of their own hearts, and they kept going backwards instead of forward." Our motto is anywhere but backwards. So look forward to us next month. We're going to do the Minor Adjustments online talk show, and we'll have guests on. And also my wife going to be doing something weekly called Apple Slices that I'm excited about, so I can sit back and watch her and be happy about seeing my wife do what she do. So to God be the glory. Thank y'all. It was important, and all these books will be dedicated or sent to Miss Leslie Bailey. She won all 8 books that we will be sending to her. And again, please tune in next month sometime. You will see the date, and we'll be doing a Minor Adjustments online talk show alongside my wife doing Apple Slices. Remember that name, Apple Slices. And to God be the glory. We love y'all. Have a blessed holidays. Be safe, be prosperous. More than anything, be protective, be cautious, and watch yourself out there. To God be the glory. God bless y'all.
Bye.